What is the most hostile place on Earth? Most people look up and think of space. But one of the harshest environments we know is already here, under the Western Pacific, in a wound in the seafloor called the Mariana Trench. At the surface, the Pacific can look calm and bright. Far below, it drops into darkness so deep that Everest would disappear inside it and still leave water above the summit. Nature gives you a postcard on top and a nightmare underneath. Our journey ends at Challenger Deep, the deepest known part of the global ocean. Modern work places the deepest observed seafloor there at about 10,994 meters below mean sea level. Welcome to our journey about Mariana Trench. Long before sonar and deep-sea vehicles, people still suspected the ocean was hiding something enormous. Sailors had stories, scientists had ropes and lead weights, and everyone had a very incomplete picture of what lay beneath a ship. That changed in 1872, when HMS Challenger sailed as a floating laboratory. The expedition measured temperature, currents, sediments, and depth across the world ocean. For the first time, the deep sea was being treated as a scientific question rather than a blank mystery. Near the Mariana Islands, Challenger's crew recorded an exceptional depth for the era. Rope soundings were crude, but the result still mattered. It showed that this part of the Pacific held one of the most dramatic depressions on the planet. In 1951, HMS Challenger 2 returned with echo sounding and measured an even greater depth. That survey helped establish the name Challenger Deep for the lowest known section of the trench. The place now had an identity, not just a number. Then came the dive that entered exploration history. In 1960, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh climbed into the bathyscaphe Trieste and headed for the deepest point on Earth. The descent took nearly 5 hours and rewrote what humans could physically reach. During the dive, a window cracked with a sound sharp enough to end most sensible plans. They kept going. At the bottom, Trieste stirred up fine sediment and visibility turned milky. But the mission proved that humans could reach the deepest seafloor and return alive. Some of the life reported on that dive, especially the famous flatfish claim, remains debated. A sea cucumber or another benthic animal is more likely. The correction does not weaken the story. It shows how hard-won deep ocean truth really is. Why is the trench there at all? The trench exists because Earth's outer shell is broken into moving plates that collide, dive, grind, and recycle the planet's surface over immense spans of time. The Mariana Trench marks a subduction zone where the Pacific Plate descends beneath the Philippine Sea Plate. The Pacific Plate here is old, cold, and dense. In tectonics, age matters because older oceanic crust cools, thickens, and tends to sink more readily. As the denser plate bends downward, it drags the seafloor into a long, narrow trench. The Mariana system adds more drama with steep geometry, active arc volcanism nearby, earthquakes, and unusual chemistry linked to water moving through rock at depth. Challenger Deep is not one perfectly simple hole. It includes multiple basins, often described as western, central, and eastern. That helps explain why depth estimates have varied across surveys. Scientists are not always measuring exactly the same spot. The trench is part of a larger geologic engine. Subduction returns old ocean floor into the mantle and helps drive plate tectonics. Without that recycling, Earth would be quieter, flatter, and far less dynamic than the planet we know. Near the Mariana Forearc, researchers have found serpentinite mud volcanoes and other evidence of fluids moving through rock. This region is not only deep, it is chemically active, with water-rock reactions revealing what subduction is doing below the sea floor. Deep marine chemistry matters because life does not always need sunlight. In some settings, chemical disequilibria can power ecosystems. Darkness is not the same thing as emptiness. The deep ocean can become biologically rich for reasons that have nothing to do with daylight. So the Mariana Trench is more than a deep crack filled with seawater. It is a place where the planet folds itself inward. That is why the descent feels so dramatic. We are going down into the consequences of plate tectonics. Now imagine we begin at the surface. Light is everywhere. Waves scatter the sun, and the water looks almost ordinary. This is the last comfortable chapter of the trip. Everything below becomes darker, colder, and less forgiving. In the upper sunlit layer, photosynthetic plankton helps support marine food webs and a major share of ocean-linked oxygen production. Life is busy here. Predators can see, colors still matter, and movement follows rules the deep ocean abandoned long ago. As we enter the twilight zone, light fades instead of disappearing all at once. Shapes blur, blue tones deepen, and many animals begin relying on black, silver, or bioluminescent tricks. The ocean is already strange, but still manageable to imagine. This middle realm holds enormous biomass. Bristlemouths, for example, are tiny fish with population numbers so large, they sound almost absurd. Bioluminescence also becomes common here, because when sunlight starts failing, evolution brings its own lighting system. Below about 1,000 meters, the last useful sunlight disappears. We enter the midnight zone. Temperatures fall, pressure climbs, and darkness becomes total in any normal sense. The ocean now rewards stealth, efficiency, and sensory tricks instead of speed and color. Deep-sea predators in this zone look almost deliberately unsettling. Anglerfish use glowing lures, dragonfish carry needle-like teeth, and some species have transparent or highly modified tissues. None of this is decorative. At depth, every feature has to earn its energy cost. Past 4,000 meters, we enter the abyssal realm. The seafloor stretches in wide plains of sediment broken by ridges and volcanic structures. Food is scarce, so anything that falls from above can become the center of a brief ecological opportunity. Marine snow is one of the main food sources here. The name sounds delicate, but it is really a constant rain of dead plankton, waste, fragments, and organic debris. Much of the deep ocean survives because the surface world keeps shedding material downward. Some deep animals show forms of gigantism. Giant isopods are the famous example because they look like pill bugs that made several alarming life choices. The real point is that cold, pressure, and limited food can push body plans in surprising directions. At 6,000 meters, we cross into the Hadal Zone, the deepest marine habitat on Earth. The name comes from Hades, which is a useful warning. Trenches and troughs dominate this world, and their steep walls create sharp environmental gradients. Pressure now becomes more than a number. Materials are stressed constantly, tolerances shrink, and weak designs stop being designs. The ocean does not attack dramatically at these depths. It simply presses until fragile things fail. As we move deeper along the trench, the walls guide us into a narrower world. Trenches are not uniform pits. Their slopes, ledges, sediment fans, and local basins create distinct habitats. Even here, landscape still shapes life. So what survives? More than early scientists expected, and less than fiction likes to imagine. Hadal life is real, specialized, and often subtle. Amphipods, holothurians, xenophytophores, microbes, and other organisms use every available energy pathway with remarkable efficiency. Xenophytophores are one of the strangest examples. They are giant, single-celled organisms, sometimes large enough to resemble broad discs or small balls on the sea floor. A giant single cell sounds like biology showing off, but in the Hadal Zone, it is real. Amphipods are another key group. These crustaceans occur across marine ecosystems, but in trenches they become especially important as scavengers and prey. Baited landers often attract swarms of them, revealing how deeply trench food webs depend on material from above. Amphipods are another key group. These crustaceans occur across marine ecosystems, but in trenches they become especially important as scavengers and prey. Baited landers often attract swarms of them, revealing how deeply trench food webs depend on material from above. That limit is one of the most elegant lessons in deep-sea biology. Life does not fail because the trench feels spooky. It fails when proteins, membranes, and cellular systems become too hard to maintain under crushing pressure. Even evolution has boundary conditions. Microbes may be the true quiet rulers of the deep. In sediments and chemically active settings, microbial communities process carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, and other compounds in ways that shape the whole ecosystem. They rarely get dramatic narration, which is unfair because they carry a lot of the plot. Elsewhere in the deep sea, vent systems show that bacteria and archaea can power food webs through chemosynthesis rather than sunlight. Not every trench floor is a vent field, but the principle matters. The deep ocean can support life by using chemical energy. Trench topography can also help concentrate food. Organic matter may be funneled or trapped by the shape of the seafloor, and carrion falls can create temporary bonanzas. A whale carcass in the deep is less a tragedy for the ecosystem than a long-awaited banquet. What reaches the surface is often a damaged version of trench life. Pressure changes can distort tissues, rupture structures, and alter the form of deep organisms during ascent. The specimen may be real, but it is no longer living under the rules that shaped it. That is why halobiology still feels incomplete. Every expedition adds species records, behaviors, and chemical clues, yet the total picture remains sparse. The deeper we look, the more obvious it becomes that ignorance is one of the trench's most abundant resources. Reaching this world is an engineering problem of unusual seriousness. A Hadal submersible has to balance buoyancy, structural strength, navigation, life support, and sampling capacity inside a machine built to survive pressure that would instantly destroy ordinary vehicles. Trieste used a strong pressure sphere and a gasoline-filled float for buoyancy, which sounds eccentric until you remember it reached the deepest seafloor on Earth in 1960. Modern vehicles are more advanced, but the basic truth has not changed. Depth punishes weakness. Remotely operated and autonomous systems have expanded trench science enormously. They can carry cameras, traps, sensors, and samplers into places too risky for routine crewed work. Even so, every dive is still a negotiation with physics, complexity, and failure. We have seen that risk in modern times. Deep diving vehicles have been lost when pressure housings failed, and the 2023 Titan disaster, though far shallower than Challenger Deep, reminded everyone that at depth, even a tiny weakness can become catastrophic. Pressure spheres work because spherical shapes distribute stress efficiently. Materials matter too. Steel, titanium, ceramics, syntactic foam, and specialized viewports all involve trade-offs in weight, strength, visibility, and cost. Deep-sea engineering is careful compromise, not magic. Navigation is another challenge. GPS does not work underwater. Visibility is limited, and communication is slower and harder than surface technology has trained us to expect. At trench depth, location depends on acoustics, instruments, and patient mission planning. Sampling is just as hard. Sediment cores, biological material, chemistry, microbes, and video all have to be collected without destroying the target or the machine. In Hadal science, one bad dive can cost years of work, and the only chance at a specific site. So what has all this effort taught us? First, the trench proves that life occupies extremes once considered nearly impossible. Second, geology and biology are inseparable there. Pressure, seafloor shape, chemistry, and food supply all help decide what can persist. The Mariana Trench also matters because subduction zones are not remote curiosities. They are part of the tectonic framework that drives earthquakes, volcanism, and crustal recycling. Studying the trench helps explain how Earth works as an active planet. Biologists care because hadal microbes and enzymes may reveal biochemical solutions to extreme pressure, low temperature, and unusual chemistry. Those solutions can matter in biotechnology, industry, and medicine. Nature keeps inventing methods long before humans learn to notice them. There is also a conservation lesson. The deep ocean is not isolated from the surface world. Pollution, climate-driven change, fishing impacts, and contaminants can reach remarkable depths, directly or indirectly. Human influence now travels farther than human bodies do. Even plastics and industrial contaminants have been found in deep-sea systems, a reminder that remoteness is not protection. The trench is physically distant, but not disconnected. Currents, food webs, and chemistry tie the deepest water back to the surface world. And perhaps the most humbling lesson is how little we still know. New maps, new pressure records, new dives, and new genetic tools keep revising the picture. The Mariana Trench remains a place where every answer opens a second question. Now imagine the final moments of the descent. Instruments glow inside the vehicle. Outside, there is no horizon, no color, and almost no useful sense of scale. The seafloor appears only when your lights catch drifting particles and pale sediment below. The bottom of Challenger Deep is not dramatic in a cinematic way. There is no giant gate, no hidden city, no monster politely waiting on cue. There's cold, pressure, silence, sediment, and life that persists with quiet stubbornness. What makes the Mariana Trench unforgettable is not only that it is the deepest place on Earth, it forces several truths into one frame. Earth is still active. Life is more adaptable than intuition suggests. And exploration is never just about distance. So the journey ends with a paradox. We go down expecting emptiness and find process. We expect silence and find survival. We expect a dead extreme and find one of the clearest signs that the planet is still active, unfinished, and full of unopened rooms.